Hello and welcome back to another episode of Confessions of a Gamer Girl. I am Doomcutie, your host, and I have just one co-host today, but a lovely one at that. Liessshy, hello.
Hello, everybody. Hello. I'm excited for another week.
I know, it's been a fantastic week in gaming, and I'm really excited to be sharing this episode with the lovely Arin Goldsmith.
Woohoo!
Hi. Thank you guys so much for having me. Oh my goodness. I'm so
Thank you for
excited
being
to be here and chatting.
You know what is really lovely? Like, whenever I see you post on your socials, which you're fantastic at, you're always smiling. And I'm so glad that that is like what I'm seeing now. You're so smiley and so lovely. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I'm just like I always love smiling and like kind of finding the best in any situation, and I always like making stupid jokes at everything all the time. So
That's
like
such a nice outlook on life. That's
it's just
so cool.
a better way. It's just a better way to be in my
Absolutely.
in me
Right,
trying
that
to live my life.
positivity.
Yes.
For sure. This week, like I mentioned, has been a fantastic week in gaming. What's everyone been playing? I know, Arin, you mentioned you were playing a little game in the green room.
Just a little
Do
one.
tell.
It's like a small indie that I don't think anyone here will have heard of. Yeah, I've been playing.
Okay,
It's really
fascinated.
small. Baldur's Gate 3.
I've never heard of it.
It's very underground. I don't think anyone has heard anything about this game at all, and I'm really excited to be bringing this to the masses using my platform.
Oh, Arin,
Yeah,
we love you.
but I actually just started. I've only played about 2-ish hours in. I'm
Okay.
about 2-ish hours in right now, but I am having such a lovely time. I've never actually played D&D before, because so that isn't. It's just because like all of my friends are like experts at it, and every time I try to like shove myself and being like, "Hey," they're like, this is my
Awkward
excuse.
silence.
This is my excuse to like start, and I could be like, "Hey guys, maybe you should let me in your group now." But yeah,
amazing.
it's such a fun game. I just finished up Diablo 4 Season 1 as well. I just finished up that content. So this came out at just a perfect time.
Amazing.
Isn't it amazing how it's taken the world by storm as well? Like, I cannot remember the last time a new game like this, it's not, a very mainstream title, has just broken the internet. It is crazy.
Well, I think with the quite interesting spicy, I must say, some of it a little bit is a little bit. I
That's
could be
true.
wrong.
Well, yeah, everyone saw like the druids in Diablo, and they were like, "What if?" And then Baldur's Gate came through and was just like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was the big thing, and then that piqued everyone's interest, and then everyone came in and was like, "Oh, actually, this is a fantastic game." So yeah, it's been really exciting just to see. I just love seeing people having fun and having a really great time with new titles. And also just even seeing all the devs on Twitter being like, "Oh my god, our game is doing so well." I love seeing people do good and seeing people accomplish good things. So it's been so exciting all around.
Oh, that's excellent. I am endeavoring to have someone from Larian Studios come on to the podcast. So if any of you are listening, check your DMs because I've DM'd a couple of you. Because yeah, I mean, that game's incredible, and the idea of a turn-based combat game like that is really strange that it's doing so well. So good for them, I say.
Absolutely.
For sure. Liessshy, what have you been playing this week?
I honestly haven't been playing much. I've just continued Palia. I've been too busy to actually sit down and play any games, which is quite sad, to be honest. But yeah, I've just been diving back into that, enjoying the beta. I'm keen to see that game grow and see what they're going to turn it into and how it can improve. And it's it's currently my safe haven, my relaxing space, and I just sit here and I jump on and I cut down some trees and I mine some stones and farm some carrots, and I'm happy.
Very cute. Yeah, I've all the posts that I see about it. It looks very wholesome. It's very wholesome
is.
MMO.
Yeah, it's very much like Disney Dreamlight Valley, and I think it can be better than what that is in the aspect of being like a cozy farming sim. Yeah, I'm excited to see it develop over time.
That's awesome. I have been quite busy this week. I was in Perth on Wednesday for the Australia Plays. It's a
yes.
research. Yeah, so there's been a longitudinal research study done over the last 18 years by Bond University. And the research is about Australian habits in gaming. And you're probably not familiar with it, Arin, but basically they've come out with their findings from obviously post-COVID. 81% of Australians play video games.
That's such a huge number.
81%. That's probably, what, 20 million gamers in
That's
Australia?
so
Something
cool.
like that. Probably 22, closer. And yeah, it was amazing. Being able to, because you can access all this stuff online if you've never heard of it. And yeah, they put all their findings up. Also need to note that 48% of Australian gamers are female.
Yeah, that's really special.
That's huge.
Yeah. The fact that
huge.
it's getting so close to 50-50 is just, who would have ever thought, you know?
Well, I'll tell you what, like when I was growing up, I didn't see like many people gaming that were girls. Like it was really quite frowned upon. And it was really interesting, the age demographic. So what happens is there are actually more female gamers in 0 to 17 years and then in 65 and over. So that's where,
Wow.
That's such a huge gap.
Yeah.
And then in the middle, males take over during that time. And it's, you know what? It's because of motherhood and, obviously working and children take up a lot of time as well. And then obviously when they get older, they have more leisure time. And they go back. They go back to gaming, which is really interesting. And then there was also comments about like what kind of gaming. So console gaming is really prevalent for 0 to 17, and then 18 to 64. And then in the 64 bracket, it's mobile gaming.
That makes sense.
So yeah, it was if I could talk about it for ages, but if you really, really want to go and read it, I've linked it on my Twitter, so you can definitely check it out there. And then gaming, I think Australia is really lucky. We're actually, and this is probably a bit of a Blizzard shout out. I've been playing Warcraft Rumble on my phone. And because that's just been the beta is just being released in Australia. It's so cute.
It is such a cute game. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited that you guys are getting we don't have the soft launch yet.
We've got the soft launch. It's really cool. And so basically, if you're not sure what it is, it's like, so in World of Warcraft there's all these big bad bosses, and what they've done is they've like made them small. And then you have like a little army, and you like you have the different player types, and you complete all these quests. Cool. and then it's really satisfying, like checking off like all of the bosses that you've done in a certain area. So there's like a map, and then in that area you can say, I've done this many bosses. It's so fun. If I'm not a mobile gamer, but that was really fun. Like there was a little bit of waiting around when I was in Perth, so yeah. I really enjoy playing that. So,
do you engage with other people on there, or do you just play by yourself? Or
no, I didn't. It's just me. It links to your BattleNet,
your account. Yeah, right.
So That's cool. So you need to log into your BattleNet for that. So yeah, if you are an Aussie and you want to, try something that's a little bit low kind of you just pick something up and just quickly play it. It's a really good option. So yeah,
Cozy
good times.
gaming.
I also preloaded Starfield. I've downloaded it.
Oh,
I cleared. So most people know I have a Series S. So I was like, right, I don't need this. I don't need this. I've only got Forza and Diablo on there now, and Starfield. So yeah, I pre-downloaded that. Are you guys looking forward to Starfield?
Yes. I'm not. It's probably gonna be a minute before I play because I want to get through Baldur's Gate before I do
Okay.
it. I know that's gonna
Yeah,
take
fair
a
enough.
minute, and I also know it's probably gonna take like 4 hours to download. So I just want to get through Baldur's Gate.
It's a big boy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
yeah. I've said previously, I've never really played many Bethesda games, so it's one that I'd be keen to try. But I think I might actually like sit down with my partner and play because he likes Bethesda games, and it'd be interesting to, I guess, watch first before I jump in, or maybe it's something we can like play together and go through levels and do different quests, whatever. Just couch co-op, but passing the controller to one another. So we'll probably play it on Game Pass. Like our Xbox rather, just sits behind the TV and hasn't been turned on in months. So it'd be a good excuse
For me. I
do
love
that.
my Xbox.
Yeah.
Oh my days. But yeah, I mean, you do have a spaceship of a PC, so that's
I do.
probably why.
Yeah, I do. I tend to spend a lot of time here, but like I've got that console. I'm going to put it to use, and it's a good way to, I guess, not have to buy the game and just try it out on Game Pass and see if I like it. So
we love that Game Pass. It'll be available on console Game Pass and PC Game Pass. Yeah, I'm honestly best value in gaming
100%.
in my opinion.
I have to agree. And I love PlayStation Plus, but I do think Game Pass takes the cake for sure.
Yeah. I just wish, the only thing that like I wish I could do is, so what you can play some games like Bejeweled and stuff like that on your phone through the Xbox app. I wish those achievements linked. They don't.
Okay.
So, but I hopefully, like, because mobile gaming is pretty huge. I think maybe in the future I would really like that. So
that'd be
Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, if you're watching, just letting you know I would like that. Thank you. Okay. Speaking of current news, we don't normally talk about the news, but I think this is a really important conversation. I think it'll really lend into our more social media skills that we have on the panel today. Elon Musk has announced that they will now be removing the mute and block button. I do want to preface this with saying that you are still able to block DMs. So do consider that. What are our thoughts on it? I'll go to our guest, Arin, first.
So, there are very few things that I would say are probably some of the worst decisions that someone could make, but I think this is very much up there because there's a lot of layers as to why this is a very bad idea. One, it goes against the terms and conditions of the App Store and the Google Play Store. So hopefully that means it won't go through because it's fully not supposed to happen at all because you're supposed to be able to block people. Another thing is that just it completely takes agency away from someone who's posting, and it's going to force a lot of people to have private accounts who might not, and that could stop a lot of creators from reaching a wider spread audience. As someone who's dealt with some quite seedy figures who always have something to say about either my employment or the status of my tweets or the way that I look. It's not like it's crappy. It's crappy for me. I could hit the mute button if it was that. But the thing is, I don't want, especially other women who are following me and who are potentially looking for a career in gaming, to see that and be like, oh, this is something that's acceptable and that I should be expecting to have on my comments if I'm someone who chooses to publicly work in gaming. So that sets a really bad precedent for the future as a whole. It also takes away the agency from creators for building up expectations for their community. So I'm someone who's very, I'm pretty liberal with my block button. I have a very like fine line of like, okay, this person is, I can take constructive criticism, that's fine. But if someone is specifically in my comment section, clearly just trying to drudge something up to get engagement, then they get blocked. And that's something that I really like to set expectations to my audience. And that's actually something that people comment on my stuff a lot. It's like, wow, I expected your replies to be a cesspool, and they're not. And that's a big reason for that, is because I set the expectations that if you're not going to be nice to me, then I don't want you following me. Like you can be mad at me somewhere else, but I don't want you following me. And taking that away is a really big blow to creators, and especially women, people of color as a whole, who experience more harassment.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think like I just have no words. The fact that you lose control of your own platform, is that not enough to say like, why are we even on this site? You know, my block button, like I use if I need to, for sure. But I saw a really good thread before we went live, and someone was making the point that yes, you can mute someone so you don't see what they post, but that doesn't stop everyone in your comments from seeing the crap that people are putting out, and not being able to, I guess, monitor that or defend yourself. And like you said, Arin, it sets that expectation that people think that this is okay, you know, and to lose control of that is just, it sucks. And then on the flip side, safety, like safety online is so important, and something as simple as a block button is so powerful. It's such a powerful tool. And to remove that, like you're just putting people at risk of hate, of bullying, harassment, attacks. God knows what else can come from it. Like we live in a digital world, and we need to have these things in place to protect us, as big or as small as they are. This man actually hurts my brain. Like I can't comprehend this way of thinking. And I was reading an article, and he said, I put it out before, I can't remember the words, but something about free speech Times Square. He wants X to be this place where people can say what they want. Like I get that, but people can still say what they want without others having to see their shit. Sorry, but you know, okay. Like it really just, it grinds my gears that he even thinks that this is okay. I can't comprehend it whatsoever.
Yeah, I think it hasn't gone through. And like Arin,
it's just speculation at this point.
Yeah. Arin has said it does go against terms and conditions of users inside the app stores. So I mean, if he wants to continue being there, this is something that he will need to consider. I was on another podcast just before this one, and there were some Americans, and I'm not sure if maybe you can speak to this, Arin, but not that I'm particularly political, or this is a political podcast, but apparently he has alliances with Donald Trump and things like that, and he thinks, some people think that this move is politically motivated. I really hope that's not the case, because at the end of the day, he's putting people's lives essentially at risk. I think this is a bad move. Will it make me leave the app? I think as long as an app is serving you and your needs, I think people will stay.
Yeah.
I remember when we had Alana Pierce on, she spoke on the fact that she doesn't look at her DMs at all. So, you know, you could potentially take that stance, but at the end of the day, we've got people that are under 18, very vulnerable people, vulnerable communities that, you know, like Arin said, they could be the first-time creators, you know, that are seeing this kind of stuff. I don't think it's going to go through. I really don't.
It can't. It can't. It's just such a big thing that it just doesn't make sense to allow for this to happen, you know. And like, not even just creators, it's everybody on the platform. We've got, unfortunately, kids signing up, and it's the new generation that we're trying to mold into better people, and to allow a place like this to involve hate and bullying that can come from it. Like, I'm not going to talk about it anymore because I just don't
It's
get it.
okay. That's okay. I just thought, you know what, we can speak to this rule.
Yeah.
What people might consider a more vulnerable part of the community, and I think that it takes people like us to say something and stand up for it. And at the end of the day,
Absolutely.
this is if this isn't going to make people feel safe, then people will move on. And then,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you want more users, right? You don't want droves of
Correct.
users leaving. So, all right, let's get into the real meaty part of the podcast, and that is so when I asked Arin onto the podcast, I kind of wasn't 100% sure what she did. So I'm now more aware of it, but for the people who aren't quite sure about your role at Blizzard, could you tell us a little bit more about what you do?
Yeah. So I have the best job in the world. It's really, really fun. I'm unofficially, I like to consider myself a game dev hype lady. That is really what my job is at its core. But it is my job to assist the talent acquisition team to help them kind of show off Blizzard as a place to work through social media. I work on creating content and coming up with fun and creative ways to show off some of our jobs and kind of what working at Blizzard is like, so that way people can make an informed decision if this is a great place for them to work or not, or so they can assess that themselves, so we can put that out there. A big misconception is that Blizzard pays me for any of my, like, even speaking opportunities like this or posting on Twitter or LinkedIn that I do for myself. No, Blizzard puts up with me, but that is not very much not something they. That's a part of my job. It's very much my own thing.
Okay. Excellent. No, I can guarantee that none of us have been paid from Blizzard to speak on any of this. So yeah, just in case you're wondering, that's really cool. Okay, I have a couple of things. So my first thing is, how did you find this job?
So this was kind of a wild experience for me. So I have always loved gaming. Gaming has always been a part of my life. Ever since I was really little, my dad would play, especially Blizzard games. My dad would always play the original Warcraft series, and I would always just be hanging out as like a very small child. The first game I ever bought for myself was Diablo 3. And a big way that I was able to keep in contact with my friends from high school when I went to college was playing Overwatch. So Blizzard games have always really been a part of my life. I started my career working as a professional costume designer, working off-Broadway on shows. And that's what I thought I wanted to do with my life. I was positive that was like 100% going to be my career path. So I'm originally from Southern California, actually about 30 minutes away from Blizzard HQ. I live in the house that I grew up in, which is actually quite convenient. And
I can imagine.
Yeah, and so I moved to New York to go study costume design, and I kind of really quickly realized that the industry was not at all what I thought it was, and the way that the jobs and payment structure and the amount of hustle that was required was not feasible for me to be a happy individual. So I kind of had to accept that, like, oh my God, the thing that people I've gotten dozens of scholarships for and that people have been like hyping me up for is like being like the next Tony winner since I was like 14. Like, this isn't gonna work out. So I had like a giant existential crisis. Good pin in that. And then from there, I was actually crying backstage in a theater. I was like frantically sewing something because it needed to go on stage in like 5 minutes, and I was like having a really bad time. And an operations manager of the theater came up to me and he was like, "Hey, you're good at Instagram, like, right? For an extra $100 a week, do you want to run this theater's social media?" And I was like, I'm 20 years old. There's like $3 in my bank account. There's absolutely nothing I want more than to have an extra $100 a week. And from there, I started working in social media and freelancing. And while I was in school, I was taking on random gigs. And what I would do was I would go on Groupon. And I would find hairstylists and massage therapists and people who did facials, and I would like look at their social media and I'd be like, they need help, and I'd be like, hey, I'll provide you a strategy deck for what you should do on your social media if you give me a free haircut or if you dye my hair or something. And that's how I would get my hair done while I was like super broke all the time.
Amazing.
And that's how I was able to build up experience while I was in college too.
Okay.
So I graduated in 2020 with a theater degree. So the thing was, the pandemic happened and I had no more theater jobs. So I was like, okay, I need to pay my rent. I guess I'm going all in on social. So I went on ZipRecruiter and I quick applied to every single job. And then I got a job at a fertility clinic doing their social media. I was hired as a marketing assistant and I was the entire marketing department for multiple fertility centers. I was doing the website, I was doing the paid ads, I was doing the SEO, I was doing the social, I was doing the personal branding of the doctors that were there. I was running
It's a lot of
partnerships.
work on your own.
Yeah.
It was insane. It was horrible. I wouldn't trade it for the world though, because I got like 5 years of experience in like 6 months because it was so much. But it was awful. So I was only there for a year. And I left, and then I worked as doing marketing for a construction company. That was awful in a different way. In that, basically, everyone there kind of thought I was really dumb, and that I had absolutely no idea what I was talking about, and I knew nothing about construction. And I did not know anything about construction, but at least like with the fertility clinic, they did a really good job of teaching me and giving me a good overview. Like if anyone has any questions about IVF, I can answer them.
Amazing.
Which is my like random skill that I have, which is fun at parties, I guess. And
that's your party trick.
But I was basically just like an overpaid graphic designer. But because that job was super unfulfilling, I was really good at having a really great work-life balance. So I immediately shut off once I was done with work because I did not care about this job at all. I like truly did not care about this job. And I went back to school. I went to Northwestern to actually go to school and get some digital marketing. Because as I was doing job interviews I was doing job interviews initially just kind of learn about what skills I was missing. Because again, I was just kind of like picking up things as I came along. And I'm really bad at acronyms. I like stumble a lot if someone mentions a 3-letter acronym like CTR or ROI or anything. And if someone says that to me and I don't know what they're saying, like I immediately trip up. So I went back to school specifically to learn what that is. And I continued applying for jobs until I got a DM on LinkedIn from a recruiter at Blizzard being like, hey, have you ever been interested in working at Blizzard? And at this point, I've been rejected for like dozens of jobs, like so many different jobs. I've done the interview process recently has been really crazy. Like I did an average of like 6 interviews per company that I was interviewing with. So at this point I'd done like close to 100 interviews. And I got this message and I was like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way I'm getting this job. And then I went through the interview process, and the thing that really stuck out to me was that people were I spent a lot of my other interview processes, and when talking about digital marketing, people were like grilling me on my very technical skill set as opposed to like my strategy and ideation. Whereas with this one, they were asking about like me more about my what I was thinking, who I was, what my kind of goals were, and like about me as a person, which was a really big green flag for me. And I interviewed with a bunch of really wonderful people, and then I got my message for my job, and I was actually on the way to a yoga class, and I like cried. I was so happy. I was so happy I got this job. And now I've been there for a little over a year, and it's still really magical.
That's amazing.
It's so special that you've got that passion now, you know, considering you have had a 0 care factor for previous jobs and you finally found the dream job. Like it's such a special feeling, actually feeling wanted and loving what you do.
Yeah, it's really, really it's really, really awesome. The people there have really been amazing. It's like I tell people, and this is kind of like it's kind of sad, but like it's weird to be in a place where people actually care about like what do you think about things. Like people will ask me, and like even from other teams go out of the way, be like, "Hey, Arin, what do you think about this this graphic or this something?" And it's so strange to have people genuinely wanting to know my opinion.
Well, it sounds like you have such a diverse background, and I think probably that's been one of your strengths. Is
Yeah.
sorry,
Sorry, I cut you off.
no, that's okay. Just having this diverse like catalog of experiences, places you've worked. You started at A, and you've ended up at this point. Like that must be such an incredible strength of yours when you bring it to this workplace.
Yeah, it's been definitely, there's like a lot of very subtle things that have come with it. The biggest one that I've taken from costume design is being really creative with working with nothing. Like if I am given, like I can work, being able to work with a $0 budget and a 7-figure budget is kind of a very rare skill. But when I was working in theater, they're like, here's a pile of garbage, make 40 historically accurate costumes out of it. Like you had to do it. Like there's no negotiating there. Like you just gotta roll with it. So that's something that I've taken with me, and that kind of creativity with resources has really helped a whole bunch. In terms of, it's actually interesting, the big thing that got me this job in terms of talent marketing was I actually didn't know what talent marketing was when the recruiter reached out to me, because I've always just like been social. Like that's always what I thought of myself. But a big thing that I did when I was at the fertility clinic was I ran a few social media campaigns for egg donation for this specific clinic. So I had to target some very, very specific demographics for that, and that was something that I was able to use in my interview to talk about it. So it's not gaming, but I was like, hey, I've kind of done this before. And then with construction, being able to kind of honestly, the biggest strength that I got from there was being able to have a good work-life balance and figuring out and setting boundaries, because I was like, this is easy.
At least you got something out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I think, yeah, there's probably a lot of people out there that are in jobs that they just, they're there for a paycheck. They have no job satisfaction. But I think, like, I think what's so like inspiring is that you kept going. Like you knew what your worth. It sounds like you knew what your worth was the entire time. How was that hard to maintain in your kind of field?
Yeah, it was definitely, there was, especially at the construction job, I definitely had moments where it was like, this is what I'm spending my life doing. What? Because the big thing that was really hard to swallow was going from like prodigy in my field, which was costuming, to no one, which was a really big hit. Because the thing was with costuming, it was like, oh, you're getting built up, like really, really built up, but you're also working 80 hours a week, and you have to have 5 roommates to be able to afford rent. And I was like, yeah, I can't, sorry. I can't do that.
It's not sustainable, for sure.
Sustainable. And going into my other jobs, I was always thinking like I just have much more to offer than making presentation decks for renovating interior bathrooms. Like, because I always knew that I was like, even with my little Groupon projects, I could help people. And I spent this is going to sound weird, but I spend a lot of time with my thoughts, and I like to think about things, and I really like to think about why things are happening, and I try to find correlations between events, results, data, etc., anything that's around me. And I like to turn that into results and to be able to make a tangible, good difference for people in pretty much anything that I do, really. And I just put in a lot of work to be able to kind of use that. Like, I went back to school, I took a bunch of classes, I applied, and I did a lot of interviews. And I think kind of having that hope that some way, somehow, I'm going to use this. I don't know how exactly this is going to manifest itself. I surely did not have anywhere in my imagination that it was going to be Blizzard.
That wasn't on the radar.
I was not. So honestly, I was expecting, and another big thing was I just wanted to move back to be closer to my family, because I'm very close to my family, and I wanted to come back to Southern California because I love New York, but I have a lot of friends there, but I don't have any family or anything. And I wanted to come back here, and I was like, great, I'll figure it out later. And then I was planning on going to get my MBA and fully go back to school, because I wanted to come back to entertainment. I even right now, as I don't consider myself a dev, but I don't directly work on the games, but being able to even indirectly see my impact and seeing how that has help people, and even just seeing the reaction to Diablo and World of Warcraft and seeing all the amazing things and helping elevate kind of what the developers are working on and helping players experience that has been so rewarding to me.
That's amazing. The community response to both Dragonflight and Diablo 4, like you would have been very much part of that. Working with the creators in marketing the game and, really dealing with them on the release, I suppose, and making sure that it's getting talked about. There are lots of conversations around it, lots of user-generated content, definitely feeding that. That's amazing. What would you say is the hardest part of your role at Blizzard?
Ooh, that's tough. I'd say the biggest roan for me right now has definitely been maintaining that work-life balance for me. And that is not Blizzard's fault. That's my fault. And I fully acknowledge that.
You love it so much. You're just so invested.
I really love my job. And the thing is, everyone thinks I'm insane because I do every extracurricular thing that's out there. Like, anytime there's a stretch assignment or something I can work on with another team, or if there's any way that I could network or have any one-on-one meetings with anyone, I take it and I reach out and I try to do the most with it possible, because I don't come from I'm very lucky in that my family's always supported me. They helped me a lot through college and finding scholarships and anything, but my dad works for a district attorney's office as an investigator, and my mom works for a school district. So it's not like I came from a huge corporate connection conglomerate, or even in the theater realm, they have no influence in that. And so anytime I'm able to get in a room where anyone wants to talk to me is a blessing. So I have a really hard time being no, I don't want to do this really, really cool thing that someone's looking for. Because even when I'm doing a lot of stuff, it's super fun, because it's oh, do you want to go to GDC? And I'm like, yeah. Why would I not want to go to GDC? Yeah. It's more work, but I'm yeah, but I want to go. And my manager's you don't have to go if you don't want to. I want to go.
But when you love something so much, it's so hard to turn it down, especially in this kind of space. I totally know that feeling.
Yeah. You just want to be part of everything, and it's just and once you have that fire, it's lit inside you, and it just sort of it spreads to everything that you're doing. And to be honest, everything that you put out there is so heartfelt. It's so you. So yeah, I just I want to thank you for being here. Honestly, when you this one. Oh yeah. Wait, how do you do the new one? There's a new love heart. Where's the other one? That one.
I do
this
one?
I don't know. This happened a few months ago. I was like, oh, we don't do this anymore. I don't know why. But yeah, like you are literally Blizzard's cheerleader. Like you, you it's amazing. It's so cool. What's like the coolest project that you've worked on so far, like, or campaign that you've worked on so far?
Ooh, okay. So my favorite one that I got to work on is we did a really neat campaign for Women's History Month, in which we got to highlight 6 really amazing ladies that work at Blizzard across our different franchises, from Overwatch to Hearthstone to the corporate teams. And it was really special because what we were able to do with that is we got we got 2 artists, both were women as well, and we had them illustrate each of these women as characters from the games that they work on.
Yeah,
That's cool.
And it was really, really fun to do and really, really great to see. And it was such a fun and rewarding campaign that I want to do so much more of. And it was just a really good celebration of being able to highlight some of, because there's a lot of really, really amazing women that work at Blizzard and have always worked at Blizzard, and being able to highlight them and kind of show them in the worlds that they're in, that they create, was so much fun and so well received, and definitely one of my favorite projects.
Oh, that's amazing. How special. And how special for like Blizzard to task you with that. That's yeah,
it was funny enough, because another thing I really like about Blizzard is I have a lot of creative freedom. Like, I have a lot of a shocking amount of creative freedom, which I've never had.
We'd love to see it. Okay.
Yeah, like I have almost there's been very few ideas that I've had that have been shut down. So the like usually most of the time, even if it's like if I'm getting feedback, it's mostly like, oh, just change these few, great idea, change these few things about it, go ahead. As long as you're doing it, great. And it's been super rewarding that they've had this much trust in me and let me create some really fun and innovative content that a lot of times can appeal to women and memery and the greater fandom, which has been super fun. But yeah, I came up with the idea for that specific campaign with Danny Burkhardt, who's basically does my role on the Activision team. We actually work super closely together, so it became a whole company-wide campaign as well.
Awesome. That's really, you're in such a unique position, because not only are you affecting Blizzard on a public level, but also on an internal level as well. That's really cool. Love that. Okay. Can you talk us through the process of, okay, so a game's coming out. What's your next steps for a game coming out? What would you normally do?
So usually what that looks like for me on my end, from a talent perspective, is I usually take this as an opportunity to use the platforms that I work on to kind of hype up the marketing channels in addition to the recruitment as well. I will specifically work on pieces that are related to that specific franchise. I will specifically do some spotlights on maybe some of the people who are working on the game. I'll try to think of ways that I can highlight them, and then I'll work with the marketing teams to see game marketing teams to see how I can amplify on that end. Usually I'm also trying to find out what campus celebrations and events are happening, because I always tell people that 90% of my job is running around and shoving my phone in people's faces to take video. I feel like the Kris Jenner like you're doing amazing, sweetie meme anytime I walk up, and I like show up to like the development room. I'm just like, hi, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about
I'm not.
Pretend the
I'm
phone's
not
there.
here.
Keep working.
Don't look at me.
Yeah. But I really just try to capture kind of take an opportunity to capture the real-time joy and excitement that goes into being on the dev team when that game is coming out, and being able to really capture that behind the scenes look. That's really the majority of what I work on pre-game launch.
Yeah, so if you guys aren't sure what she's talking about, so she runs the Life at Blizzard pages, and you can see all of her, well, it's not necessarily your face, but it's the people at Blizzard and what they're doing.
Yes, it's very fun, and I make fun memes, and I post a lot of dogs. And I force people to send me pictures of their dogs. Trust me, I'm noticing I one of my biggest soft skills is totally being fine with being annoying in Slack and being like, hey everyone, send me pictures of your dogs, and then they do. And that's honestly actually been a really great way to surprisingly network with people, because I'll be annoying in Slack and I'll be like, send me pictures of your dogs, and like some people that I would have never talked to in any other opportunity, like producers, artists, any some higher up people, will just be in my Slack messages and be like, here's my dog in a Warcraft cosplay, and I'm like, thank you for
So would you say, like, do these kinds of ideas, they just come to you? Like, how do you cultivate that in your life?
Yeah, so I'm kind of so that's kind of like my personal biggest strength is, so I'll talk about business and then in my personal life as a LinkedIn creator as well. But for me in my personal life, for business, I always think about like, if I would, one, it's always just why would I care? Why do I care about this? What do I need to what would make me what would I need to know about Blizzard if I wasn't sure about it to want to work here? And I try to think about that and what's needed. And I'm always trying
Like
to
their dogs.
like dogs. And I'm always trying to put the real experience forward. And I'm trying to get things that are always trying and coming directly from employees themselves. So I'll be annoying in Slack and I'll always look at what people are talking about. So if people are really excited about like an event or like a certain like something that's being served at the cafe, or if there's like a new something in the library, I try to see like what people are actually really excited about. And I'm looking at also what employees are tweeting. And a really cool thing about Blizzard is people are actually really excited about talking about their job on social media. So I really try to amplify what conversations are actually happening. So I take it from the people that work there. I also think about what are some really fun ways that I can also engage with our fans and community to give them a behind the scenes look. So maybe if they're considering, maybe they're a fan of the game, but they haven't considered like, hey, maybe I could work in the games industry too. How can I bridge that gap and bring that understanding? So a lot of the times if we're posting jobs or something, I will use in-game dialogue when I write the captions for it. So
that's cool.
It's always really fun. My favorite ones are the Diablo ones because I get to act like a doom cultist writing the ritual for summoning people for jobs, which is super fun. And then
that's awesome.
I get to like if I'm posting something for Overwatch, I'll lean into character lines. Like I'll pretend to be Tracer writing the post trying to recruit for Overwatch, which is super fun and people really respond well to. Because, and it's also really great because our fans are so passionate and they also want to see what we're doing, and it's really fun. And then personally on my LinkedIn, when I make my own content, there's a couple ways that I think about it. I like to think about how I can one, I think about how people are messaging me and how, like, I apologize if there's anyone watching this who's ever tried to message me on LinkedIn. There's a 99% chance I did not respond to your message, and I'm sorry. I just like I do not have the capacity to respond. It's just me. It is literally only me. And all 90% of my messages are really nice and heartfelt, and I just physically can't respond to all of them, and I am sorry. But I do read them all. I do read all my messages, and I try to go in there and I try to see like find an FAQ of what people are asking me and what people are going to know. Because I'm in a really privileged position where I can literally Slack a general manager of a franchise and be like, hey, what do you think about this? And they will probably respond to me. And as I've found out, is there's not a lot of information about the industry or what's required or even general skills that people just don't know about. And when I have access to that information, I just want to share it. Another thing is I like to think about what I wish I could have known earlier. So I like to think about like, what are some realizations or learnings that I have now that I wish I could have known when I was in college or when I was first starting my career? What did I need to hear that no one was telling me? And that's really what I try to lean into.
So do you use LinkedIn more like for yourself as your own brand, or do you use it like to both talk about Blizzard and just being in the space? Like I can't really word what I want to say. Like, is it more your social media platform where you can have the announcements of your insights on a personal level, or is it used more for Blizzard or both?
Yeah. So I actually do the regular Blizzard LinkedIn page. That's me. But that's all Blizzard. That's only Blizzard. That's
yeah.
But for my personal account, it's not for Blizzard at all. It's me and only me, and they put up with me posting about about my stuff. I often post about my experiences myself while working at Blizzard because a lot of people want to hear about them. And a lot of people are really curious about what's going on and what it's like to work at such a big company. And I kind of like sharing my learnings as I'm going into it because there's been a lot of surprises for me. Some other things beyond gaming tips and everything, I often will chat. I chat with people inside Blizzard, but I also chat with a lot of people at other studios to be like, hey, what's your take on this? I'm trying to get as much good information as possible. I'm still learning myself, so I'm kind of very much relaying things as I get information, but I'm always trying to make sure that my insights are up to date. But it's very much for me with tangential references to what I do at Blizzard to add context.
No, that's really cool. Like, you've got a massive following over there. I'm just looking at it now and just seeing, I guess, that more personal side of you and with you sharing your experiences. It's a good way for people to get an understanding about like different ways to get into the industry. And I think you've got such the upper hand as well that you get to do that for a huge company that you love, but then you've got other experiences in other industries too that it all relates.
Yeah, it's been so rewarding. I feel very lucky to have I did not set out to be a LinkedIn influencer. It just kind of happened. It just kind of it was so basically the way that it started was I made my first LinkedIn post like, hi, I got my job at Blizzard, and I had like 300 this was a year ago. I had 300 connections at that time, and that post just blew up. Like, it got like 3,000 likes.
A pretty girl works at Blizzard, guys.
Yeah, they're like, oh my god, Blizzard. But my inbox was just like flooded. And at the time, like, no one wanted to really like talk to me. No one cared about who I was at that point. So this was like so overwhelming me. I was like, oh my god. So again, I started looking through and seeing like, okay, what is the general sense of questions that people are asking me? And I started making posts about it. And then those posts blew up. And then those posts blew up. And then it came and turned into the cycle. And now I'm weirdly popular on LinkedIn, which is so what all the cool 20-something-year-olds aspired to be, which was not on my, like, if you told me like 3 years ago, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, you're gonna have a ton of followers on LinkedIn, and people are going to respect you for that. And I'm gonna be like, what?
I think LinkedIn is considered like very serious because it really is there to showcase your work. And if I want to sort of get everyone's sort of opinion on this. If you were to rank LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, YouTube, and Twitch on levels of showcasing your portfolio or you as a serious person, from most serious to least, what would it be? I'll go first. So I would say probably most serious is LinkedIn. Then I think YouTube. Then I think Twitch. Then I think Instagram. Then I think Twitter. And Threads I'm going to put at the bottom because I'm not quite sure where that falls.
Yeah, it's hard though, because like I use LinkedIn how many years ago? Like 3 years ago, when I was working for a small marketing agency. And I just put it on the back end when I left, and I forgot that it even existed. But it is such a powerful tool to get connections with industry people. So yes, it absolutely should be at the top, but I don't prioritize it because I forget to use it. So I think it's like, it's got that stigma of it's so heavily industry focused. Like you've got to be someone in a really high position to do well on there. Like that's the thought process I have behind it. And I think that's why I forget about it, because I'm just a nobody, like why would I use that social media platform? But I probably should. So for me, YouTube's like the highest one for me, and Instagram, because that's basically what I've built myself up on. But because of how fast these social media apps are changing, it's hard to stay relevant on there. Whereas LinkedIn, it's probably one of the best places to get that a little bit more personal with the right people. So it absolutely should be up the top. But I'm with you with Twitter and Threads being on the bottom, because it just becomes a bit of a cesspool of crap, Like I've definitely used it just for rants and just to talk whatever. Yeah, so I think for me personally, like YouTube's my biggest one. That's my main focus.
Yeah.
Twitch I don't even do because I haven't streamed in so long. Like I actually removed my
Her affiliate, yeah.
Because like if
big.
I want to stream, I'll go to YouTube. I've just got no interest for Twitch anymore. That's just a personal thing.
That's fair. Yeah. So for me, LinkedIn is, so I'm a LinkedIn apologist. Is the best way I would describe it. I LinkedIn doesn't pay me, but they should. But they
actually, you know what, Arin, they should pay you, because I think, sorry to cut you off, but like I started taking it more seriously when I saw that you were successful on there. I was like, hang on, I think this might be an untapped
space,
content creator space, because if I post my content creator stuff on there, people are interested in that. Like people have DM'd me on there all the time about what I'm posting.
Yeah,
like I think it's quite a untapped field.
Yeah,
maybe.
LinkedIn is by far, in my opinion, the most powerful social media site, because it's the only social media site that connects directly to your resume and your past skill set. So any content that you have on there immediately links to your past experience and skill set, and is very powerful for specifically hiring, or if you have your own business, lead generation if you're looking for clients. Another thing that I really, really enjoy about LinkedIn is that its algorithm is not like any other social media app, and it prioritizes content that is both inspirational and informative. So it doesn't specifically prioritize content that makes someone outraged, or that's specifically trying to gauge emotion. It's specifically looking for those things so people get the most value out of it. And then, yeah, it is extremely untapped in terms of people that are creating content. Less than 5% of people who are on LinkedIn, and there are 930 million users that are on LinkedIn, 75% of them have a full-time job, and only 5% of all of those users have ever made a post that includes, hey, I just got a new job. So that means there are a lot of users that are posting absolutely nothing on LinkedIn right now. And there is a huge audience that's basically out there and scrolling while they're looking at anything. And also people are just nicer. People are nicer on LinkedIn. It's a really good place, especially I think if someone's new to content, to kind of test things out. I always tell people don't worry about likes. I know that's easier said than done. But it matters more about that specific content just living on your profile. But it's a great place to test. Maybe if something does get a reaction and people do get a lot of likes, people are usually more respectful, especially if you like you're first starting out and maybe you have a bad take. It happens. Everyone has bad takes sometimes.
Yeah.
People are going to be much nicer to you if they disagree. It's going to be like, instead of being like, kill yourself, someone will be like, excuse me, you should weigh these points and look at these sources for why these
Constructive.
you should reconsider this. It's constructive.
Okay.
People don't want to see anything. People don't send you hate or graphic images in your DMs if they disagree with you. So it's a really great place to learn. After that, I think it just ranks based on what you're comfortable with and what your strengths are. Like if someone really likes being on video or like enjoys streaming or YouTube or making video content, then I would put all of them in that one aisle for them and what they're good at. Whereas with me, I don't like editing and looking at my own face for like long periods of time. So like video doesn't work well for me. I also I had a TikTok account for a little bit and I know I could like push it and be better at it. But I just I don't like the TikTok algorithm is like the worst thing in the world for me. Like it knows every insecurity that I've ever had in my life and somehow it reads my mind and it's just like, hey, you're gonna look at this for 3 hours straight. And I'm just like, okay, never mind. Not worth it. Not worth it.
No, good. I'm glad I'm not the only one who can't get it with TikTok.
Yeah, me too.
No, it's tough because at least with YouTube, the big thing is you can really curate your recommended feed. Like for me, I don't I like watching. I have two categories of videos that I watch. I watch.
Hold on, she's gonna confess something here.
I watch speed runs of indie games. Those are that's category 1 because I use that to fall asleep. And then category 2 is I love niche historical educational videos. So those are my favorite things. But in terms of raw stimulation, that's not going to pick up into what I'm reacting to in real time on TikTok. What I'm going to react to in real time on TikTok is outrage and eating disorder stuff and things that are designed to get a reaction out of me. Whereas what I actually want to watch to improve myself, I can tailor YouTube to that. And no matter what you do on TikTok, you're still going to get shown all the stuff you don't want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just what it's designed to be like.
And I think, I don't know if, and maybe you both can speak a little bit to this as well. I feel like marketing is really moving into a place of shock value. You know, and I think, I don't know, people are in it to go viral rather than out there to create actual quality,
sustainable
informative
content.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's definitely that shock value is what captures someone straight away. You need to grab their attention instantly. And because that's just what social media is now. It's just a constant scroll. So if something doesn't catch you straight away, you're going to keep going, right? So what better way to do it than shock value? But I don't agree with that. I don't like that. I'm not here to scare people or to make them feel these feelings. I like doing educational content, and unfortunately that's not going to shock you at the very start unless I have some weird catchphrase, you know? So, things
or
like
look
TikTok
a certain way.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And then that app specifically, doesn't do well for me because I don't just whip out my phone and film a selfie video. I like creating something that looks good and has a bit more of an editing perspective, you know? So unfortunately that for me doesn't tend to do well because people just pull out their phones and record something and then they've got 1 million likes.
Oh, but I do that and I don't have 1 million likes.
Do you have the shock value.
No, I don't think I do. I think I might be too boring.
That's how I feel too about myself.
Oh my goodness. Whew, I tell you, being a content creator out there, it's a tough gig, but by the sounds of it, I think that probably finding your niche, finding what resonates with you in creating meaningful content is you're going to have a better time doing that.
You'll enjoy
Yeah.
it. It's more worth
Yeah.
it. It's sustainable for yourself.
Yeah. Also, just finding a platform that you genuinely enjoy being on is also helpful, because even like as you're looking at trends, because they're less prominent on LinkedIn, but they're there. There'll be like people talking about even like they're more like high level trends. Like for a while there, everyone was talking about quiet quitting, and or maybe there's like discourse about remote work or something. There's usually like it's less like a sound, but there'll be trends. But it's something where I genuinely enjoy reading about everyone's takes, and I like scrolling and reading is actually enjoyable for me on LinkedIn. Whereas TikTok, it's like I'm going to I feel I have never felt worse about myself.
Yes. Comparison is the thief of joy. We all know that. I'm sure through our experience. I think the journey through both jobs and content creation really has been non-linear, and I think if people can just be open and authentic, I think they will get the most success. Arin, before we end the show, is there any advice that you have out there for people that want to go into marketing or are trying to improve marketing themselves? What advice would you give them?
The biggest thing is always constantly be working to improve yourself, and always be learning. There's always it doesn't even have to be something formal, but always try to be teaching yourself something new. Try taking some classes, some Skillshare. Like Skillshare is great, Udemy is great, Coursera is great, LinkedIn Learning is great. Trying to just get as many different perspectives as you can. Learning more about specific industries that you want to go in, learning about history of certain campaigns. Maybe think about some campaigns that you've seen that have done well, or some certain social sites, and find some video essays on them and see how other people analyze them, and see that perspective and try to see how that is being shown through other people's eyes. The other thing is, don't get too caught up in an industry. Gaming's great. Gaming's amazing. I love gaming. I recommend it for highly, obviously. But a big thing is it's probably not going to happen right away. If you're like straight out of school and you're applying and you're trying to get into a specific niche, there's a strong possibility it's going to take a little bit. Keep working and improving yourself, and that will improve your odds. It's totally normal if you find yourself having to take another job. Always prioritize paying rent and stability and what you need in your personal life over an idea of a dream job. You might be surprised what you find along the way.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think there are some really great points that we've all taken away from that. And I mean, I know I'll be leveling up some of my LinkedIn stuff.
I second that.
So look forward to seeing that. Speaking of leveling up, I have gotten so many compliments about my voice content on both this podcast and on the Well Played podcast. People are always asking me what microphone I'm using, and I always have to tell them I'm using the Elgato DX microphone. And it's just so good. I'm really enjoying it. Elgato is our product sponsor, and we love them over here at Conventions of a Gamer Girl. Liessshy, how are you finding your first 2 weeks? Week?
Yeah, a couple weeks. Yeah, being an Elgato partner.
She is an Elgato partner. I'm still so excited. She's got that flashy little light behind her.
My neon lights are growing. I love it. I've actually got a mini series launching overnight tonight, so tomorrow on my YouTube channel, without being too much of a self promo. But
No, don't
without
tell
giving
me
too
all
much
about
away, I've always wanted to do a little bit of a guide for people who want to start in the content creation space, because there is a lot of people out there that don't even know what kind of gear to buy. So there's a couple of videos coming out with beginning levels and more advanced levels, and I've got Elgato backing me. Do you know my brain just likes to combine words at times? That's what it just did. Yes. Anyway, the backing of Elgato is super handy because I've wanted to do this series for a very long time, but I haven't had the time or capacity to do so. So it's very fitting at the moment. So stay tuned to my YouTube channel because I'm very proud of these videos. I put a lot of effort into them, and we go into so much detail about the products, and you'll get to see the full range basically. So that's coming tomorrow.
Amazing. I did see your little unboxing on Instagram, and you had the shirts and everything, and I was like,
for my merch.
Yeah,
they
that's
have
so
the most
special.
comfortable hoodies. It is special. Yeah,
I
I'm
know.
very grateful.
They had it got sold out straight away, but there was a hoodie I think, and it said creator, and it had the definition of a creator on there, and I thought, oh, that's so meaningful.
They've got some really cool merch, which is kind of odd that they sell it. It was a nice thing to see. So I really hope they restock it soon because they've got they're so cool. They are so cool.
Definitely. All right. Before we finish up, Arin, where can people find you? What social media platforms are you on, and what will you be doing for the next week?
Oh, geez. Okay. I'm on, my main platform is LinkedIn. I will always and forever be on LinkedIn. You can just search my name, Arin Goldsmith, ArinGoldsmith on LinkedIn, and I will pop up. I post tips on careers in gaming, networking, personal branding, as well as my own silly life anecdotes as I learn things. So it's fun. Follow me on there. I am also on Twitter, X,
whatever you call it
these days.
whatever it is for now. I'm on there also at Arin Goldsmith. There I post more silly things, more memey things, more live recaps of my life in just doing things. So if you want to see a sillier side of me, that's a great place to follow me. I'm also on Instagram, also at Arin Goldsmith, where I am cool and mysterious, and I frequently forget about the app. And also
so mysterious, you've forgotten about it.
Yeah, I'm just really cool and mysterious, and that's why I never post on there. It's
amazing.
But yeah, I'm also on Threads, kind of. I have an account. Also at and if you want to, I also have a TikTok account with some videos if you prefer video content of me also talking about career tips on there. I'm not very frequently active on TikTok because again, it's bad for me. But there are some videos on there if you do want to check them out.
Amazing. We just said the same thing.
Yeah. Because it is.
we're so in sync. We're so in sync. It's incredible. Liessshy, what are you getting up to this week? Anything you want to plug outside of your amazing YouTube series?
I've actually got a quiet week, other than the fact in real life, my new studio is getting built. It's actually beginning its starting phase, and I think I'll do a video on that over time as it starts to get built. I'm really excited. I've always wanted my own studio space that, I can paint a wall if I want to. I can put my nanoleaf lights on the wall without having to worry about what my landlord thinks. So it's going to be it's going to be a lot of fun. But game-wise, I'll probably just jump back into Paleo, to be honest. And I also need to finish Pikmin 4. I'm really liking that game. I'll usually play an in-game mission every night before bed. So it's a bit of a cruise for me, but I really need to get around to doing that. So I think that's what my week's going to be.
Amazing. I'm going to be mostly dreaming about Starfield. If I'm honest.
Not long to go.
Not long to go at all. I will be thinking about Starfield. I will also be, I'm looking at planning some future fundraising stuff in regards to
Nice.
Starfield. So that's, stay tuned for that. I'm also on the hunt for some awesome guests for Confessions of a Gamer Girl. So I'll take this opportunity to just say, if you've ever wanted to be on the podcast or you know someone, shoot me a DM, shoot Liessshy a DM, or Ellie, whomever you would like, and or just the podcast on Twitter. You can message there, and yeah, let's make it happen. Let's make some awesome stuff. Thank you so much, Arin, for being here again, and we will see you all next week.